and welcome to this NA minor qualifier action. I'm here with Emmanuel, whatever he wants to be called.
You can call me E-Man.
Cool, whatever you want. We'll call you E-Man for now. Yeah. A little bit late here, but we're getting into it. Complexity up against Eclipse here on Train. We just saw Eclipse play on Train, and they managed to win their matchup 16-14 with a pretty strong CT side, so it's going to be interesting to see if that's the case here. They're starting T-side, and already Android gets that first shot. Guimond was not expecting Android's aggression there. Complexity right now are pushing up pretty aggressively in towards Pop, and you can see Eclipse already leaning towards the B side of the map. In the meantime, Desi's peeking out here, does get the free kill as the push comes through on towards the B side of the map. Dazzle is the first entry for the T's, finally finds it, but Desi's there for another frag, and it's already just up to Ace. 1 versus 4, and it's looking like Complexity should be able to close out this pistol, and indeed they do.
A very solid first round from Complexity, and it was really good positioning from Desi to lock them in for that one. So second round coming in, Scout buy up for Def, UMPs for a UMP for Surreal, a FAMAS for Slemmy. Really? I thought that gun was sort of dead in this meta.
Yeah, most people just buy up the UMP instead because it's pretty much as good as the FAMAS, honestly, and you get the bonus money. So kind of a weird buy, but if he wants to go there, it should still be fine here. Against pistols, they shouldn't really need too much, you know, in terms of a strong buy. So I'd prefer to see him with the UMP, but either way.
Yeah, Eclipse are going to position themselves up towards Brown Halls, get a lot of information, and understand that Complexity is holding very passive angles, but flash into Pop Dog, and no, it's actually Decoy. Dazzle goes down to Surreal's UMP, and now the push is underway. Looks like they're going to try and take control elsewhere on the map. Android picks up Ace, Guimond going to pick up Surreal as well, and oh, Def just misses out on a kill there. So 4-3 so far, a minute left. Def does get the kill onto Moose over at Ivy. Very important, and now 2v4 with Tech 9s. It looks like it's going to end very quickly for Eclipse.
Yeah, Complexity should definitely close this out at this point. This round basically has gone as expected. You know, the force-ups can sometimes do the damage, as Android catches one off guard, but always difficult for the pistols to come out on top. You kind of saw Eclipse sort of spread out a bit across the map and take 1v1 fights, which maybe I'm not too big of a fan of. I think it's better to try and overrun the counter-terrorists. Especially on Train, there's a few spots where if you rush down the ramp on towards B, sometimes you can get a quick bomb plant for some bonus money. Either way, there is Slemmy to finish things off, and Complexity will take the clean 2-0 lead. And this should be a pretty much a full eco here for Eclipse, so should be able to take the stronger 3-0. So you're definitely going to have the stronger buy heading into this round.
I noticed Surreal bought an MP9. I do like that gun, and it's very good when you want to just get some nice, good money in a round. We've seen all kinds of teams been able to do all kinds of crazy things with it, but we'll see what Complexity can do. Slemmy opening it up with a nice headshot into Dazzle. Def gets Guimond. Ace returns to the P250, and Def is going to take out Moose in response. Again, 4v2. There's the MP9. Get that good money going for Surreal, because he's going to need to buy up to that op, and it looks like he's already exchanged for an M4. Down goes VSA. Pretty clean round, 3-0 for Complexity now.
Yeah, I like the buy of the MP9, especially when you pretty much know you're not going to be against Kevlar. You don't really need the UMP, which is generally better against armor. So I think the MP9's a pretty good buy there, and they managed to save all of their rifles they had. It looks like Def's going to stick with the Scout as well as Surreal on the AWP. So full rifles for Complexity, but not quite as strong of a buy as Eclipse. The issue for Eclipse, though, is even though they do at least have that AWP and full AKs, just sort of 5 smokes on their side and 1 flash could make it difficult to execute through, as Def should spot out this opponent here. It was Asu with the AWP in his hands, but he gets out safely for now. In the meantime, Complexity have actually got 4 players towards A, and Desi playing somewhat aggressively solo towards B to gain that info. And right now, he's got a lot of info for the team, so that's allowing that 4A stack to come in. And, you know, if that A play does come in from Eclipse, which is looking likely, then it could really be tough for them to push through on towards the site here.
Execute comes through, and all the smokes are down. Slemmy's going to span through the smoke, find 2 headshots with the FAMAS. Android over up in heaven rather is going to pick up the kill onto VSA. Moose playing close to the bomb train. Is he going to spot one through the smoke? He does, and in fact, Guimond picks up Desi. Android trades out with Moose, but now it's a 3v1, and Guimond surely can't survive for too long against this. Down he goes. Slemmy gets the kill. 4-0 for Complexity in what looked like a little bit of a slow execute onto A compared to how fast you should normally explode when you throw the smokes. Not sure if it was exactly a misplay from Eclipse to play it in that way, but nonetheless, Complexity had the strategy to take that win.
Yeah, they seemed a little indecisive maybe, but I think it was always going to be difficult after Desi peeked towards upper B and just got so much info there. Eclipse, you know, were always going to struggle to push up against 4 players. It's kind of strange that they went so quickly as well. Either way, could be a very quick round here as the quick B players coming in. Eclipse maybe just trying to get the bomb plant through, but Desi already finds the first kill. He is alone here towards B, so the bomb plant could come in, but he's staying alive for now. Beautiful shot for the second. Eventually the trade frag comes through. Eclipse should be able to get the bomb plant down now. I did not see that on my screen.
One dig from Guimon through the smoke, absolutely incredible. Bomb goes down, Slemmy gets a nice kill through the smoke, only 1 player remaining at the back of bomb train, down he goes, Android gets the kill, 5-0 for complexity in the span of less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, Eclipse won't be too disappointed with that. Just getting the bomb plant down was the main aim there. And Desi was showing that he can actually hold off at B pretty well. He managed to sort of avoid the angles well enough to allow the rotate to come in, which I was pretty impressed with. Either way, Eclipse should have very strong money heading into this round. You can already see an AWP brought up, full nades to work with. So now, I think this is the real proper, you know, first full test for Complexity CT side. There's full nades for Eclipse to work with. They can go for a proper execute. They have the AWP on towards Asu, and he even has full nades as well. So that bomb plant allowing a very strong buy to come in, and now Eclipse are going to need to pick up some rounds soon. Train is very CT sided, but still, you need to get some rounds on your T side, right? So 5-0 lead for Complexity here, and it looks like Surreal's already peeked out again. Autodirect missing the action, but Trade's coming through down to a 4 versus 4. Moose is in towards Pop Dog, but it looks like Slemmy just going to play it safe for now, and they're going to play it out from this 4v4 position.
Asu's holding with the up, which is so impactful on a map like Train. He's going to get the kill onto Def as well. Spots out Surreal on top of the Train, is forced to fall back, and almost hits another shot as well. Moose is still smoked out. There it is. Asu gets himself one more with the op. He's looking over at Z. Does anyone want to peek him? No, they're just going to smoke it off. Pull out onto A site. Very good play. Moose going to pick up Desi. Slemmy trades him out, but Guimon's going to follow it up, and very clean round for Eclipse. Getting that first one on the board, like you said, so important.
Yeah, good that they can finally get one on the board, but they do need to be a little worried about their economy here. If they lose a couple more now, then they could be in real trouble. Complexity do still have the strong buy, and here we go, a double AWP setup on towards Def and Surreal, the 2 UK imports, both with AWPs in their hands. This is definitely going to be interesting to see where they decide to play with them. Def's over towards Ivy, and Surreal's also on towards the A site. Again, Desi pretty consistently playing solo B, but it's worked out for Complexity so far. Let's see if Eclipse are aware of these double AWPs already. Def nearly gets the chance to the opening, but doesn't quite pull the trigger. In the meantime, Eclipse is just playing things slowly for now, not really willing to take any fights just yet. As Asu just in towards A main, going to peek out, wins the first fight. That's Def's AWP dropped early on, but Surreal still has one on towards the site. The push is slowly coming in towards A, but the full team isn't really here yet, and Slemmy's been able to get another frag in the meantime. So again, even trade so far on the A site, and it looks like the push should come through any second now.
The bomb's coming in, it looks like in T main, and they're able to push in. Moose he hears Android. Is he going to win the fight? Yes, he is. A very good push onto the bomb site. Only 2 players left there and 1 slow to rotate. Actually, Desi picks up Dazzle, but Ace does pick up Slemmy. He's been so impactful on the op. Moose pushing forward, grabs one in the back lane by the old bomb, and last guy, Surreal on the op. 1v3. I think the call for him should be to save soon.
Yeah, so he's still deciding to go in though, and now he's a little bit isolated here towards the site. Could be difficult to win out at this point, but Complexity do still have plenty of money, so maybe just thinking about some damage. He needs to look up right now. Surreal's not going to spot out the player, surely should. Finally gets the kill towards Asu. So awkward there. That's the 1 frag. He could now back off towards T main, but he's still thinking about going for this one with the smoke in towards Pop. Nearly spots out Moose, but decides eventually the time has ticked down too far. He's just going to go ahead and save that AWP. So Complexity having to concede another round here. Their money's somewhat awkward as well. I'm not actually sure if they're going to be able to commit to a buy into this next round. So Eclipse doing some good work here on the A site. Even though their pushes have felt somewhat slow, and it feels like they're waiting a long time after getting those initial kills, they're still able to just win the fights and take control of the site. So good job from Eclipse so far.
If Complexity is going to buy up, they've got to get some SMGs, and you see Android's picked up a UMP, as has Slemmy, and it's going to look a little bit scarce in terms of utility for this CT side. So Eclipse, with their full buy, including that op on Asu, is going to look to see what they can accomplish, knowing that they can probably push in, having ruined the CT's economy. Moose looking into spam underneath Pop Dog, doesn't pick it up. Def gets Guimon, oh, right into the UMP. Goodbye bomb down as well. VSA, he's got to just molly it out. Android's gonna fall back a little bit, but fact of the matter is,
Did you see
Complexity
two
looks
there?
in a very advantageous
What's
spot
that?
just because of the fact that the bomb's down and they're watching it very carefully.
Yeah, that shows, you know, the power of the UMP in towards Pop Dog there. When you're up close, it really can be very powerful in those sort of positions. And that just shows the strength of the UMP, even without the full rifles to work with, gaining the early advantage here, Complexity. Eclipse still have some sort of hope left. They still have the AWP on towards Asu, and he's been landing some pretty good shots so far, but they're going to have a lot of damage to do. It looks like Eclipse are currently grouping up around the B site. Often Desi's been the solo player holding here, but Complexity, I think, after getting it up to a 5v3, are just wanting to make sure they don't lose control of the site, so they've stacked 2 players here, and it looks like Eclipse slowly but surely should be smoking their way through. Android with the Molotov to slow down the push, but it's not quite enough. The player pushes through. In the meantime, Desi is going to get a free kill here. They don't check the right corner, and it's just Asu left alive.
Well, he's going to hit the shot onto Def and fall back. Surreal's watching that angle. Is he going to go down to inner and spot out Surreal? No, in fact, he's might be going for the safe. He's looking around Pop. I don't see how he's going to get out of this, though, if Slemmy decides to push behind him.
They started to like play.
Yeah, the time is at least low.
We can go
I need to turn off this voice over here because
probably do Ivy.
they're analysing their game now. There does come the push through. Slemmy finds the frag, so good round win for Complexity. Despite not quite having the full buy there, they managed to come out on top. Eclipse will still have the buy up with AKs on their side. Asu has money for an AWP as well if he wants it. He's not deciding to buy up yet. Does indeed go for that AWP. In the meantime, Def and Surreal both buy up double AWPs, but it looks like a scout was bought there and thrown away, so misbuys maybe from Complexity. Either way, Def does still have the AWP over towards Ivy again, as well as Surreal towards the bomb site. He's actually going to get boosted up towards Connector. I like this angle from Surreal when he gets the kill on the edge of the smoke just as it blooms. He takes down Asu early on. And that's the AWP of Asu lost, that huge investment going down. Guimond at least recovers it, but still a clean 5v4 to start things off for Complexity.
In addition, Eclipse doesn't really have too much utility. They have enough to take a site, but their post plant is going to be very, very difficult as they push in towards Ivy, and it looks like it's actually being watched by 2 players, so going to be a little bit difficult for them to get that. They can smoke it off and flash their way in, but once the information is there, I don't see how they're going to be able to push in too far and make their way all the way over to the bomb train. Nonetheless, they're going in nice and slow. Are they going to be caught out? Def's holding it very patiently. Is he going to be rewarded? Dazzle going to smoke him off, so no shot there. Not the timing shot either, and pushes into Ivy. Dazzle picks up Slemmy. Moose gets Android, actually hold that. Def gets Moose. Dazzle gets another, and not going to be able to take another one as Def, so all of a sudden that 2v4 became a 2v1 and only Desi left alone to retake. Is he gonna spot him out? The patience, is it gonna pay off? Yes, he does. 1v2 successfully recovering from that scary situation that it was to get himself the 7th round for Complexity.
Yeah, Eclipse have looked really good on their A plays so far. Even there, when they push with 3 players through from Ivy, rather than going for that sort of split with the A main and Pop control, they still managed to do really, really well on the opening trades. A little bit unfortunate for them that, you know, Desi got really good timing to get that first kill, and then obviously knew where the bomb planter was as well. So well played by Desi, but it certainly feels like Eclipse could be able to pick up some more rounds here. As Desi goes for an interesting smoke. This is a one-way here. You can see on the edge. I like that from Desi when he's solo holding B, and Eclipse could run straight into that right now. This could be really sick from Desi if he gets the timing right with it. Looks like he might fall back, still peeking over the smoke. Might not expect this from the T's point of view. Desi does spot them out and just decides to play it safe. He's probably going to call for the rotate now. So I like the play from Desi as the push is coming through. Dazzle on the edge of the smoke gets taken down. They're going to try and get the bomb plant here, Eclipse, and a couple of entries here. One for Moose already might allow them to do so. With only the Tech-9's brought up, they won't be too disappointed. Nade going in, takes down the bomb planter just in time. Perfect nade from Android to deny that coming in. Moose does land the long-range Tech-9 shot, but still going to be difficult to do anything from here. Although, having said that, he's got another frag. 1v2 now for Moose, and he's dreaming of the highlight play. Molotov coming in, and Moose still trying to peek out and take these long-range angles. He's going to back off just in time, but I think Slemmy might have spotted that out. Moose going to go back down, Pop Dog towards A, but Complexity haven't rotated yet, so he might get the bomb plant here for free.
It looks like they're just completely unaware, and he may have seen his foot, but it might have just... He might have thought he was just seeing things, but the plant goes through for Moose, which is very surprising considering the fact that he's still holding on to just Tech-9 and armor in what was a 1v4 and now a 1v2. Def and Slemmy, though, have utility, at least on Slemmy, for the retake, and there's the kit on him as well. So It looks like this should be pretty easy for them to do. I don't think Moose has too much in the way of helping him win this, and he's probably going to even peek the diffuser late. There it is. Def picks it up. And there comes the 8th round for Complexity. And Eclipse played that really, really well, or at least we saw a very, very incredible play out of Moose. So we'll see. I mean, they have potential for more rounds, and I don't think that this 8-2 does justice to how well Eclipse are playing right now.
Yeah, there've been a lot of close rounds so far, very often getting the bomb down, but it seems like Complexity just able to clutch it out for the most part so far. Either way, orbs on towards both players. We've seen Asu be pretty powerful with that so far. In the meantime, though, Surreal wins the fight against him. Dazzle has pushed in towards Blue Train, trying to gain that information early on, but he's pretty isolated right now. Not really too much for support for him just yet. In the meantime, Surreal going up, peeking out on top of the green train, decides to back off, and it looks like an early push is going to come through again from Eclipse here. They are stuck in a 4v5, and already Surreal makes that advantage even greater for Complexity. His second kill of the round early on. The smokes have come in, but Complexity haven't even lost a single life yet, as Def is already on the flank for a free frag as well. And the push is just falling apart for Eclipse right now, as only Moose is left alive, and Slemmy finds him as well. Complexity just doing really well there at reading the A play and managing to get the flank through for the easy shutdown.
It looks like just that they're under-committing in terms of the execute onto the A site. They get the entry frag and they're ready to go in, or rather they didn't in this time. But the fact of the matter is they know where the enemies are and just didn't run out onto the site in time because the rotates already came through Z, and you saw how Surreal had time to climb up onto the train and Android had time to go up into heaven. It just seems that they're not taking the advantages that they're given and playing off the information that they have. Nonetheless, this time it's going to be all Tech 9s, or rather 4 Tech 9s, 1 P250. The play is going to be toward B. Will it be inner or will it be upper? It looks like they're going towards inner. The nades are already. Let's see if they can get the quick plant going through. And it looks like there is one player in Z to help Desi out, who normally, like you said, holds the site solo. The nades come through. Def is up in Pop Dog. He doesn't have the information just yet, but there it is. The play's going in. Guimon rushing through with the Tech 9. Doesn't seem to pick anything up, and the bomb's going to go down right next to the bomb train. They miss. Desi, he gets himself 2. Make that 3. No, he misses the shot, and VSA is going to pick him up. Guimon gets really 2 for himself, and Slemmy's and Def are going to take him out. So Dazzle and VSA, 2v2, but with very little utility. The bomb didn't actually go down. Surreal gets himself a nice kill with that P250 as well, and Dazzle surely hold that thought. He's in a 1v1, and all of a sudden he's picked up a rifle. He's got himself armor as well. This is all of a sudden very winnable for Eclipse in what was supposed to be just a Tech 9 Rush B round.
Yeah, Desi was able to get 2 kills on the hold, but yet still the Complexity players rotating and couldn't quite manage to do so. Oh, Dazzle doesn't quite spot out Surreal pushing in towards upper. This is so awkward now. Surreal's just about going to come back in time. Dazzle needs to get the bomb still. Surreal's still not peeking. Dazzle recovers the bomb. Surreal peeks out perfectly, and that's going to be a free kill for him as the time was ticking down. So Complexity do just about manage to close things out, but again, Eclipse are playing so many of these rounds so close and just not quite able to pick up enough edges so far. They've been tactically reasonably good, like in terms of their pushes. They've made the right reads quite often, but I think again, as you were saying, it seems like they don't quite fully commit to the push. Especially in that one round earlier, we saw Dazzle push out to Blue Train, and there was basically no support for him. It maybe feels like Eclipse just need to kind of call a time where they all push together with the smokes and flashes coming through. Either way, Def getting boosted up, perfect boost, gets the off angle to find the kill on towards Asu earlier, and he had the AWP in his hands. In the meantime, Dazzle running back through that Molotov, trying to actually catch Surreal off guard here, who's AWPing from connector. Does Dazzle spot him out? This is so awkward right now as Surreal's head is nearly being spotted out. Dazzle, though, could do a lot of damage on the push through towards upper, could get a free kill, whiffs it a bit, and actually Def comes out on top. That was such a huge kill, and Dazzle misses it. Guimon loses his life as well, and now Eclipse only have 2 players left, and it's looking pretty grim for them again here.
Moose and VSA are on opposite sides of the map as well, so they can't trade off of each other. Slemmy's going to pick up Moose. VSA, only one left alive, and he's going for this duel. Almost wins it against Android, who is down to 22 HP, but Complexity, in a little bit more of a commanding fashion, pick up their 11th round of the match. And I think at this point, the economy is looking really bad for Eclipse. They do opt to full buy it, and that could really punish them. Asu this time actually picks up a scout instead of a rifle, well, a more traditional rifle.
Yeah, I feel like Eclipse, they've been making the right plays for a fair amount of the time here. You saw Dazzle push out there. He really should be winning that fight almost every time against Def, but just kind of whiffs the shots a little bit. It's just tiny mistakes like that are costing Eclipse. In the meantime, Desi gets that opening over towards B. I guess the one positive here for Eclipse is that Train is certainly a very CT-sided map, but still, 11-2 is a big deficit to play from. Moose is over towards upper B as well as the bomb, but still Eclipse very spread out evenly across the map, so it's looking unlikely they're going to push through yet. Although, having said that, Moose maybe spotting out how well Dazzle did from this position earlier, trying the same thing, but Surreal with that AWP has just been landing shots so far, and Eclipse have really struggled to find the trade kills on towards him, and now again they have to play from a 3v5, which is going to be so difficult. Asu, if he had an AWP, that would have been a kill, but unfortunately the lack of money means the scout won't pick up the frag. Damage done, but not quite enough for the kill, as the push will be coming through any second now.
VSA cooks in the bottom of Pop Dog. Guimon does pick up Slemmy, and there's a push as well from the ladder, but no, Surreal, he's gonna stop that out. Guimon looking to spray into Z. He does pick up the headshot onto Desi. Does he see Surreal around the bomb train though? I'm not too sure. Def over in the 5 lane as well, and it doesn't look like they know exactly where he is, and he's been so impactful in the op. Looks like there's Surreal spotted out, and are they going to see Def now in this 1v2 in what I guess worked out for them in terms of at least the scout doing enough damage to get people low enough that the duels look a little bit more favorable for Eclipse, but they push in, bomb gets planted, and Def has to retake. He does have a kit, he has a molly and a flash, not too much more to work with, and it's going to be very difficult. He has to check every single angle that they can hold the bomb with before he can get this retake.
Yeah, looks like he's slowly going to push through. Again, the incendiary could help him out, but there's just so many angles to check towards. He's going to use it to try and clear out E-Box, which will work, but there's no players there. So now Def has a lot to do here. He does spot the first player, but in comes the peek from Guimond. Well played together from Eclipse. Guimond with 4 kills on the round, by the way. Big impact round for him. And if Eclipse can salvage an 11-4 half, I certainly think it's doable here, but that CT pistol round win is going to be really important to make sure they can build up some round wins early on. Complexity, by the way, despite winning, 6 rounds in a row just before this, are actually forced down to a somewhat dodgy buy here. No defuse kits to work with. Their utility's lacking across the board, and Desi only has a UMP solo holding B, so that's maybe a bit of a weakness in the CT setup in this round. In the meantime, a push has come in towards Pop Dog, but it looks like Eclipse aren't quite, leaning towards either side just yet. So a B play could be pretty devastating for Complexity's point of view. Either way, Dazzle with that UMP comes out on top against Android early on. The push in towards Pop Dog does not work out in this round. Asu still has the AWP in his hands, but he's playing it safe for now, and Eclipse finally managed to get a clean pick in a round. I feel like it's been a long time since this happens, but no, Asu's going to get kicked off the server. I don't know what the hell's happening, but he's just completely lost out there, and that's just so awkward for Eclipse after getting the clean one-man entry. Molotov comes in, they're going to be forced back, and it actually kills Dazzle, who was so low on health. Guimond is there back for the trade. We're back down to a 3v3 with a minute left on the clock.
It looks like there was a little bit of a disconnect, but they're going to play the round out, and this is very tough for Eclipse because Def just picks up Guimond as he's climbing up that train, and Slemmy, he's in a very strange spot, but I think that he's looking, apparently it's a game crash according to the players. He's looking very carefully, trying to play counter flash, because there's a lot of utility still there for the terrorists. Def runs through the smoke as it blooms from Moose. He's caught off guard, and he's flashed out, but Slemmy, he's going to pick up that kill. Moose trades out with Def, and it looks like a 2v1 on 3 HP. Down goes Moose. 12-3-4 complexity. Very strong half for them, although a lot of the rounds were clutched out, and like you said, at the end of that half, their economy wasn't exactly doing great, and I think that has to do in part to the fact that they did suffer a lot of deaths throughout the 6-7 rounds that were leading up to that. But that being said, it was very well played from them in that they could get their players to really all participate, and everyone is doing a part to, sure, clutch it out, but there's no individual players that are sticking out too strongly, at least in terms of KDA, and that's really important for them as we come into this next pistol round.
Yeah, VSA does have the kit in his hands. I think that's very important on the pistol rounds here because it's very easy to get a bomb plant over towards B with just a couple of smokes through. You can quickly get towards the site, so that's at least a positive here for Eclipse. I like the fact they have brought that up. Again, this pistol round going to be vital for Eclipse if they want really a hope at the comeback here. Right now playing with 2 players towards the B side of the map, but in the meantime, Complexity already coming down Pop Dog. It looks like they might split towards A. Desi taking the first fight. Difficult with the Glock there by himself at long range, but in the meantime, the rest of Complexity are pushing through towards the site. Moose playing well, does find the first kill, looking for more, finds it as well. It's going to be a third. Eventually it's VSA to pick it up, but that is good for Eclipse. 3v2 in their favor and the bomb down. Android catches one off guard. Insta headshot for him, looking for a second. An awkward fight there, but he manages to win it. It's Asu who comes out on top. Desi finds a quick one tap though. 2 kills for him and he's looking for the third. The timing's a little bit off. VSA doesn't have Kevlar, remember, which could become a factor. In the meantime, Desi still just playing it safe for now, back towards the green train. 43 seconds left, and they're going to take the fight. Desi at long range, trying to find the shots with the USP. Both players take damage. They go up the ladder again, and Desi manages to get the kill there. And VSA not having Kevlar might have cost him there.
Indeed, and that's going to be the 13th round for Complexity. And like you said, winning pistol would be so important if Eclipse have a chance to win this. They are facing, I believe, elimination, if that's the stakes for this match.
Yeah, I think it's basically the winner goes to the minor, the loser doesn't. So pretty big stakes at this point.
Absolutely, and they really, really needed this round. Nonetheless, they're gonna actually force buy up into it. There's the scout onto Asu, and he does tag up Android once, which is pretty good. There are 2 AKs from the terrorists as Def is looking to spam that UMP in towards inner. Did not cause them to back off though in Eclipse. I don't know if they're gonna take that information and use it to defend B, but that is going to be the play here as the windows break. Brown Hall's big amount of players. Asu holding the upper, which is very important considering Desi might look to peek that very soon, and he's won pretty much every duel against Desi over on that B side so far. But they say he's positioned very nicely for the inner rush. Oh my goodness, what a headshot from Asu. Beautifully done. That's a great opening frag for him. VSA with the 5-7 also picks one up. Slemmy trades out, but Moose gets another. Asu gets one more, and Def is left alone in 1v3. He does pick one up, switches to the Glock, but the UMP spray down gonna take some time, but Guimon does pick it up. So Eclipse, they did manage to force it up and take that thanks to the beautiful play from Asu. He has definitely been so impactful on his sniping throughout this game, whether it's been on the op or on the scout. What a shot.
Yeah, that's a huge round for Eclipse. That at least gives them some hope of the comeback here. Still 9 rounds behind, but the important thing is they've got Complexity down to an awkward force. There is Def doing the damage early on though. Again, the scouts from both teams doing damage so far in this map. In the meantime, Moose playing up on this green train. We saw Complexity play that position quite often as well. Oftentimes it was Surreal there with the AWP. In the meantime though, Complexity right now leaning towards B. And that could be the correct read right now. There's only one player here holding things off. That's VSA who's going to peek out with the UMP. Gets the 1 kill at least, but the push is still coming through. There's a second. That might have been enough for the hold. But in the meantime, Android trying to get the bomb down. Switches to the Deeg for the quick headshot up close. Guimond in the meantime finds another kill. But Android just faking the plant and getting 3 kills every single time. Finally, he's going to commit to that bomb plant. So bonus money for Complexity, but it should still be in favor of Eclipse here, especially now that Dazzle gets that kill. Def has 3 players to find, and he can't find a single frag. So bomb plant at least will help Complexity's economy out, but Eclipse able to put another round on the board here, which is certainly a positive from their point of view.
Absolutely, and Eclipse is also saving up a couple of rifles, which is important for them because they really cannot afford to take any ecos at this point with Complexity on 13 rounds. Meanwhile, Complexity, they're going to eco themselves up 4 Tech 9s and a P250 with armor on Android. We have been seeing some pretty incredible plays with the Tech 9s, whether they've been picked up by CTs or bought by the Ts, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to do with this because I don't want to say all hope is lost in terms of Complexity going into an eco round, but nonetheless, it is going to be pretty rough for them as Dazzle gets the opening kill. Make that 2, make that 3, make that 4! For Dazzle, unbelievable stuff, and a very, very quick round for him, and that's going to look really good for his economy because he got all those kills with that UMP.
Yeah, just casually up to 10k after all those frags. He did switch to the Deagle for one, but still, I don't think he cares too much with the 4 kills on the round. Either way, Complexity can still buy up into this round. No AWP to work with, and Asu has one in his hand, so that's something to keep in mind. The AWPs can certainly be hugely impactful on Train. There's one player crossing over, and I don't know if Asu spotted him out there. I think that's Android, who's already got up to the blue train. Moose, though, is peeking towards him. Slemmy finds one kill in the meantime. Moose does win this fight, but he's down very low on 4 HP in the process. Guimon doing huge damage as well, though, so the early trades looking somewhat even across the board here. 4v4 with a couple of players low on both sides. Looks like they have managed to push their way through. Guimon, oh, he finds the angle on the edge of the smoke. I don't know if he spotted him out there.
Feet. I believe either he heard him or saw his feet, but what a shot from him. Very important kill because now Complexity only have 3 players to push onto the A-bomb site, and the information is already there. Guimon holding a very nice angle. He's going to win the fight onto Surreal. Peeks again into Olaf, but doesn't quite get the kill. The trade is still there, and Def left alone from ladder. Picks up 1, but there's 2 more players. One's on 4 HP, sure, but surely it'll be very difficult for him to take this site alone. Moose up on the green train has a very advantageous peek. Spots him out, and down he goes. Counter-terrorists. Eclipse do take their 7th round, and it's looking a lot better for them, as I don't think Complexity has the money to buy up again.
Yeah, slowly but surely, 4 rounds in a row now for Eclipse. Again, Train is certainly very CT-sided. We saw them win their CT half over in the earlier map today. They won it 10-5, so that clearly shows they are competent on this CT half. Either way, in the meantime, Complexity are taking a timeout themselves. I was actually going to say this. I thought Eclipse at some point in that first half could have done with a timeout just to kind of sort of solidify themselves and know when they were going to be pushing through. But Complexity taking it here. I like this just to make sure they know exactly what they want to buy. Make sure they have full money for a proper full buy coming into the next round. By the way, as well, at the end of that round there, I liked that Moose, down on 4 HP, decided to go up onto that green train. It kind of meant that it was very difficult there for Def to find an angle to find a single bullet on towards him, because, you know, he was only basically showing his head. So that's a very small hitbox to hit. Either way, Complexity have decided to buy up here, and you can see, again, it's just Tech 9s for them. Fair amount of nades to work with as well, though. We've seen those nades rain over towards the A site quite a few times, but Eclipse have managed to play around them well so far. So it'll be interesting to see if Complexity decide instead to go towards B. We've seen them get a couple of a bomb plant or 2 there when they've had this awkward force earlier. In the meantime, for Eclipse, of course, plenty of money to buy up whatever the hell they want. Asu even has an AWP in his hands, and let's see where Complexity go to start the round. It looks like they will indeed be leaning towards B early on here. Moose and VSA here for now, so it could be difficult for Complexity to properly push through in this round.
Nade does 12 damage to Desi, and Complexity is going to rethink about how fast they want to do that play. But keep in mind that 2 players of Complexity are watching over for an Ivy push, so they are going to deny the information. In fact, they make the choice to go down Pop Dog instead. While it looks like the execute is coming out, all the smoke's over onto the A site, and Eclipse, they have no idea where any of the players are. These massive Tech 9s are going to rush in, close the gap, which is so important for them if they want to win the round. Very good play from Def. He's blinding him out. He gets himself 2. Surreal is going to pick up Ace as well, and now all of a sudden, 5 Tech 9s are in a 1v3. Well, I should say a 3v1. They picked up some rifles, and the bomb is planted. It's Dazzle trying to retake 1v2, who did secure 1 other kill. A nice molly onto the bomb, and he's going to have to peek very carefully. Is he going to spot the player? Does he pre-fire the angle? No, Desi wins the duel. Complexity, they pick themselves up an eco round that went surprisingly against intuition.
Yeah, really nice play with the smokes there. Went for the smokes through, which allowed the bomb plant to go down easily. But more important, flashing through the smokes. Almost a Stewie 2K-esque play there to get those couple of openings and recover the rifles. They also played it pretty well post-plant as well, both going in towards connectors. So you saw there, even as soon as Dazzle pushed through, he was instantly caught off guard by the second player peeking out. Either way, it's still a buy-up for Eclipse here, so it's still possible for them. You know, if they win this round, Complexity are probably going to be forced down to another low buy. So that's something to keep in mind. They decided to stack 4 players towards A early on, although there is a man into connector ready to rotate towards either side of the map. You can see VSA not really fully peeking here towards upper, but he is still getting the info. You know, he probably is hearing Desi now jumping around. This should be a kill for VSA, but he's not quite peeking just yet. They're just going to hold on both sides. Looks like VSA taking a slightly different angle. A player has rotated out to help him towards B because I think he did hear those steps, but Complexity is still very spread out across the map. Seems like Def's here to help Desi out as well, but they're not going to peek through yet. In fact, VSA, perfect timing on the peek, gets the free kill. It's a second as well. Huge play there from VSA, as now Eclipse should be closing out this round almost every single time. He's looking for more as well, as Slemmy's over here taking the fight, and he has the bomb in his hands. If he loses out, it could be a real problem for them, but does at least bring it back down. Dazzle, though, in the meantime, gets a free frag over towards Ivy. Asu should spot the man out. Doesn't quite get the timing right, so Complexity having to play it from a 2v4, but they're still kind of isolated. The bomb is actually pushing towards B right now. Slemmy loses his life, and it's just Android left alive. Gets the one kill, but still, there is Asu for the trade, and a little bit of an awkward round there for Complexity. They seemed sort of all spread out across the map, and after those 2 kills came in for VSA, they seemed almost a little bit flustered there.
Well, you could hear maybe in the voice comms how Desi was complaining. Oh, what about the timing, man? It was just so unfortunate for them that VSA managed to get those 2 kills, and they're actually going to half buy it. We see 1 Molotov, and down goes one of those rifles for Desi, and everyone else is on pistols or AKs and armor, and it's a very strange situation when you see this asymmetric kind of buy up. But if you don't make a play off of it, it seems like it's a lot of wasted money that you could have saved for the next round if you had planned to Nico. Android picks up 1, Surreal picks up 1 more, and surely this looks a little bit better for Complexity now. Over on the bomb train, Android, he spots out VSA, picks it up, and he's looking at Asu as well. Def is going to molly off C, and they're going to get that plant in. If someone has gone back for the bomb,
and then we just all fall apart. You feel me? That can
it's
happen.
like Asu is just alone with the
If you go down, we need to know
he
that
realizes
they're
the bomb isn't
like, you saw all of
planted
a
yet,
sudden
so
everybody
he
stopped
is
dying.
picking a nice angle, but I don't know if he's really going to succeed in this 1v3 as Def's watching him.
Still being patient. Oh, the bomb's going down. He's not quite going to peek in time. You can feel the tension in the air here from Asu's point of view. I think he just needs to go for this one. They're just so far behind. Looks like he's just going to decide to
Do we
save
not hear them
instead.
coming out though? Like,
Okay.
I
I don't know if I should keep quiet for the voice chat or if I should just talk over it. It's a little bit awkward, but looks like Asu is just going to try and save here. So again, Complexity sort of with these weird half buys are still managing to come out on top, and it's got to be frustrating for Eclipse's point of view. You know, losing to these lower buys when they manage to win in the full buy rounds. Asu up close should hear Android come through, looking for the no scope, finds it at least, but that gives up his position. The players are pushing through from Ivy, gets away just in time, looking for a second, finds it, but Def should peek out. No, doesn't get the kill here. Asu for some reason jumps across. I think he would have been safe in that corner, but he loses the AWP. Complexity will take the 15-8 lead, and now unless Eclipse can win 7 rounds in a row, it's looking good for Complexity to get to the minor here.
Indeed, Complexity is on that match point. They've got the money to go for it, and Eclipse, they really needed to save that op at least to have some kind of buy into this round. 2 5.7s, 2 UMPs, and an M4. Everyone's got armor, but only 2 have head armor. Couple flashes and a smoke. It's going to be very tough for them. Slemmy picks up the first kill onto VSA, and their chances are dwindling. 4 players left for Eclipse for them to stay in this one. Complexity, meanwhile, finally managed to pull something together and are looking great. Surreal picks up another. Def gets 1 more. Android takes out Asu. Complexity secures it 16-8 and qualifies just barely for that minor.